Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to the full stack development session. So before I jump into what exactly the full stack development is and all, so let me give some brief intro about myself. My name is Keshav. I have been working as a full stack developer for past 9+ years, and I have been into different technologies like I work on Java, and as well as I will be working on Node.js development. Coming to the front-end development side, and I'm having a good experience in both Angular development and as well as React, and also I'm into JavaScript development. That's it. That is some small intro about myself. And coming to the technologies and also what we are going to learn in full stack development and all, that is what we are going to see now without getting any further delay. So that is about full stack. Yeah, before I talk about what exactly the full stack development is, so let me talk about the basic software applications here. So whenever we are talking about any software applications, there would be different kind of software applications are available. But if you look at into that with a broad category, you can able to see two kind of applications. Actually, the one is where you'll be having something like calculator and which like notepad which I'm using, and certain media players. So all these are examples for one category of the applications. So I'm going to name them. Next is another category of applications. You'll be having something like Gmail and Facebook and something like IRCTC, different things. So these are one category of application. So if you closely observe these two categories here, without getting much into the technicalities of those applications, still we can able to see one fundamental difference between them. So that is, to run this first category of applications, you don't require any internet facility. So no internet is required to run the first category of application. But whereas in order to run the second category of applications, you must have internet to work with them, right? So this is the difference. So and the first category of applications usually known as standalone applications. The name is here standalone applications. And the second category of applications are known as web-based applications, or we call them as web applications. So why actually we require internet to run the second category of applications, and why we don't require for the first one? So because it's very simple that if you wanted to work with any standalone applications, what exactly you have to do is there will be one software is already developed, and in your system, assume like this is your computer, this is your system or laptop or desktop, it could be anything. This is your PC. Yeah, inside that you need to install that particular standalone application in this system somewhere, and you have to install it once, and you need to install only once, and you can able to use it for any number of times. So this is the way how standalone applications will be working. That motto will be like something install once and use it any number of times. And in this area, like your all these examples, right? Sometimes what happens, we may install separately, or sometimes certain applications will be available along with the operating system. So for example, if you take this notepad in Windows system, you don't need to install it separately, right? But if you're talking about some paint also will come by default. If you're talking about some media players and all, sometimes we may have to install some media players, but to run with that and all, you don't require any other extra stuff. But whereas the second case of applications like Gmail or Facebook or something like Book My Show app or ads, etc., etc., if you really wanted to do that, then what we have to do here is this is your system. Your system must be open, and at the same time, there should be another system also which should be in working mode. That system, whatever we open and we work is called client system, guys, and the other system which should be in working mode is called server system. Client system and server system. So actually, this client system is something which is located with us, and server system is something which is located at a remote place. So what exactly how this is going to work here is we need to establish certain connection between this client system to the server system. And then what is happening is inside the client system you will be having certain software to run it. And even in the server system also you will be having certain software to run it. So in other words, if you wanted to use standalone application, only one kind of software will be developed and that is installed in the computer and you will be using it. But when you're talking about the web-based applications, you have two kind of things to be developed. One is for the client side and other is for the server side. Okay, fine, but where this concept of internet is coming to picture is the client system is yours and the server system, right? The connection should be there between the client and server, but you cannot make the connection from the client system to server system on your own. Practical, it is not possible because if you're talking about example of a Gmail server, it might be located at somewhere in the Google Office, and you cannot make a connection from your system to other system. So that is the reason what we'll be using is we'll be already using an already existed connection system. That is like assume like this is something like some internet where all the systems are already connected to that internet. Assume like this is your computer, assume like this is your friend computer, something like this, and this is another computer. This is your office computer, something. Now this is your Gmail server computer. This the servers also like computers. So this is email server computer, this is Facebook server computer, this is something like Twitter server computer, and all these computers are connected to this particular internet. And how you will be able to connect from your system to particularly to this Gmail server system is with the help of some unique identification, that is like some IP address. Assume like this is your PC, and from which how you'll be connecting to here Gmail server PC here is that Gmail server will be having a specific IP address will be there. The same IP address inside your PC. You'll be opening the client system. There you'll be opening the browser, and there in the address bar you'll be typing the IP address over. And you'll be knowing like the IP address usually starts something. They not be same like 190 to some 170, something like that point, something like that it will be there. But remembering the address of such kind of numbers is uh, not a feasible task, right? It's a difficult one. That's the reason here, we came up with another solution for that is a concept called something a domain name. So where instead of Gmail server IP address, we do type something like the domain name for the Gmail application. The domain name for the Gmail application is www.gmail.com. So if you can type this in the address, then you will be connecting to the server machine. Okay, that's it. So actually, that is the reason you need internet, where at a time two systems must be in working mode in order to achieve the web application utility. Whereas the standalone application, you don't require such things. You require only a simple one computer inside which you'll be installing that software, and that will be running fine. Now, what exactly you'll be doing with the web-based applications? For example, you'll be opening something like here. If you take this example, and you'll be opening something like browser, right? And inside the browser, what you'll be doing there? So you'll be typing some address. Okay, assume like Gmail. And nowadays, even you don't need to type any address as well, and you can take the help of the search engines where if you can provide the keywords, and that only will be giving you the address, so you don't need to worry about it. Okay. So now assume like you are connected to them. Then what exactly happens is inside this, your computer server client system, you'll be having different web pages will be there, right? You'll be clicking something like register page. Assume take the help of take the example like the Gmail or something social media application or anything. Then assume like you don't have account in that, then what you'll be doing, you'll be opting for the sign up page. So inside the sign up page, you'll be entering the data like first name, last name, something like mail ID, phone number, and all. At the end, you'll be clicking a button called register. Then what exactly happens is your data will be transferred from your client system to the server system, guys, and the data will go or will transfer through the network whatever you connected through. So in the form of packet, the data will be transferred. So whatever it is getting transferred from your client system to the server system is called a request. So once the data is transferred, then what happens inside the server system, you will be having a separate module for registration activity. So whatever the data you entered in the browser, that will be transferred and the data will be captured into this particular module or certain program, I can say. So what this registration program will do is, if required, it will be calling the internal database. There will be a database and it will be calling the a database. So and after calling the database, what it will do is, it will store the data into that tables. What it will store is something like users information or something like that. One table will be there, and into which whatever the data it is been transferred from your request, that will be stored inside the database. This is what usually happens. After some time, what happens is, once the data is stored, it will be generating one message, one response message, something that will be generating, and that will be transferred from your server machine to the uh, client machine, and that is called response. So always whatever it comes from server machine to the client machine is known as a response. So this will be happening. So today you did this with the help of the activity called registration. Then assume like tomorrow, you if you wanted to use this application, you won't be doing that what we call registration one more time, right? Instead of that, what you'll be doing is, you'll be clicking a login page where username and password you are entering. That data will go, and that will be stored, and that will be loaded into another program here, special program. That program name is something like login activity or some module called login activity. What this will do is, this will fetch the data from your database. What kind of data is like, with whatever the username you are entering, for that what exactly original password is there, that data will be fetched out. And whatever you entered and what is the original password. So both will be matched together. If they are really matched, if they are same, then what happens is, one response page, that is like one home page will be generated, and that home page will be sent back from your server to the client machine. So that is in the form of the response, right? So if you look at the working structure of this based application, it is nothing but a combination of request and response cycles here. It's like a combination of both, request and a response cycle. You take any example, like, any social media application or the e-commerce application or any other, government application, any application it could be, this will be having a, uh, set of this both request and response cycles will be there here. But where exactly this term called, full stack is going to come into picture? Yes, that is what we are going to discuss now. So as I told you, at the server side, this particular thing is called what? I mentioned it as a register activity, right? A registration activity, something like that, register module. And this would be something like a login module. So in the same way, in the client system, you'll be entering something like some searching. You wanted to do some Facebook or something, some searching. Then there you'll be having a button, some box called search box, and in that some button will be there. Enter some name and search it, right? Then what happened? The request will be sent, and that will call the database. Out of database, so many people will be there with the same name, as with some name starting with something, yeah, like S A something, like so many people will be there, Sam, Sai, Satyam, like that. So many people will be there with that S A, right? So all the people data will come out, and that will be sent as a request. So that is called search activity. Like you have sometimes payment activity also. Different activities will be there. They are called different modules inside the server. So in order to happen that, definitely who will do that? Some program has to be written for that. So whatever the programs we write for register, login, search, payment, right? All these programs together is called server side software, guys. We call it as together server side software. And in order to implement that server side software, we need some server side technologies to implement it, or simply some programming languages to implement it. So in order to implement the server side uh, software or program, we require knowledge in either Java or Node.js or Python or .NET. You don't require all. Any one of them is more than enough. So you have to learn that particular language over there, and with the help of which you will be writing the certain programs, like when data comes from the request, what to be done, how to call the database, and how to store the data into the database. That is what you will be writing in the register. Next, when data comes from the request, username and password, then how to get the fetch the password from the original password from the database, and how to compare the username and password correct or not. That activity will be done in the login. The same way other activities, payment and all. So in order to do so, we'll be using the one of the technologies here. But if you use a pure technology or pure programming language here, then yes, still you can able to create it. You can able to develop it, but it usually takes more time to develop it. So in order to avoid that, or in order to make your work speed in less time you wanted to make it happen, then what we'll be doing is there is one concept called framework, guys. We call it as something like framework. So what exactly this framework will do is, framework is not a technology. First of all, it's not a programming language. It is built on the top of certain programming languages. If you take the example of Java, we have a framework called Spring, and for Node.js, you have some framework called Express or Express.js will be there, and for Python, you have something called Django, and for .NET, you have some .NET Core or something like that. So they are like frameworks, and with the help of which the development will become easier. In other words, I can say in quick time the development will be happening. So no real-time application will be developed with the help of only language. So along with the language, they'll be using the framework related to that language also. Clear? So now this is about server-side development, and that's it. And when it comes to this the client side, okay, this activity will happen and all, but to send the data from client to server, you need a certain web page, right? Like where you'll be entering the data, sign up page or register page. So and next, in order to provide a login details, you have to you require login form, that is like login page. In the same way, home page, like the different pages will be there. All pages, different web pages together is known as website. So website is nothing but it's a in other simple words, I can say it's a collection of web pages here. So in order to develop the website at the client side, one has to develop the web pages. If you know how to develop the web pages, then all web pages together integrated is nothing but a website here. So if you can develop that website, then client side software is also developed. So this all this together is like complete web application. But still that way, that what call full stack is going to come into picture. Now that is what we are going to discuss. See guys, to in order to develop this website or web pages, the way you require certain programming language help, right, in the server side, in the same way here also you need to take the help of certain programming language here. They are HTML and CSS and JavaScript. So here I'm using that word and. So earlier server side I used R, either Java or Node or Python something, right? But here this side you need to use HTML and CSS and JavaScript. So okay, fine. Assume like you learned this and you developed the software. But whenever a user opens a browser and connects to any application, Facebook or Gmail or IRCTC, any application, they cannot see what kind of database you are using, and they cannot see what kind of code you have written for checking the database and for entering the data into the database, and they cannot see what kind of logic you have written to compare the password is right or not. The only thing they can see is home page and sign up page, dashboard page, welcome page, and sign in page, contact page, right? Only this side, client side software only they can able to see. That is the reason whatever we develop the software at client side is known as front end, guys. We call it as a something like front end. For your entire application, this will be acting as a front end. And whatever we cannot see, which is written on the uh, server side, right? So that is called backend. And the guys whoever is working in the industry for the server side development on these technologies are known as backend developers, and the guys whoever is working on these technologies are known as front end developers. But this used to be a scenario a few years ago, but nowadays what is happening is whoever is working as a backend developers in a company, the companies are encouraging their employees to learn one of the front-end technologies, or whoever is working as front-end developers in that company, they are asking their employees, or in other words, I can say they're forcing their employees to learn one of the backend technologies. So that is what happening. So that is nothing but the guys whoever is working on these technologies to develop the website and client side software are known as front-end developers, and the other persons are known as back-end developers. The guys whoever is responsible for these both activities, whoever is responsible for this both activities are known as full stack developers, and this development is known as full stack development. So now you got the understanding, right? So what exactly the full stack development is? So in the industry, in order to develop this, web applications, in this process of development of web applications, the guys whoever is working on the both server side programming and as well as the front end side, client side programming, they are known as full stack developers, and such a development is known as full stack development. So if you look at this front end side, I told HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You require the knowledge, right? But whereas HTML is all about adding some content to the web page. So in that scenario, simply if you learn some tags, there is some concept called tags. If you learn some tags, then you can able to learn the HTML language. So whereas HTML is used for what? Just adding some content to the page. Like adding the text content, images, links, different things onto the web page. How to add with the help of different tags will do. Next comes with CSS. CSS is about actually adding some stylings to your web page. So when you're talking about the stylings here, it will be like adding colors or adding background colors, right? So like that, adding font sizes and font different font styles. All these are nothing but the styles. So CSS is purely responsible for the styles, and if you learn properties, CSS language is also finished. With the help of HTML, CSS, you can develop the web page. But the problem is, whatever the content you write, that only visible. So user cannot interact with that because the pages are not dynamic. In order to add the dynamic nature to your web pages, you have to take the help of the JavaScript. So where inside the JavaScript, whatever the code you write, with the help of which it adds some dynamic nature to web page. So why I told this specifically, because HTML tags, well, if you learn tags enough, CSS if you learn properties enough, but you want to add some dynamic nature to the web page, right? You need to learn the JavaScript language. So when you're talking about the JavaScript, it's like your Java or Node or Python. It will be having certain programming concepts will be there, like variables, data types, looping statements, arrays, so many things will be there. So that will be there for JavaScript. Here, front-end side development, in order to do this, using the pure language called JavaScript, yes, you can able to do. But as I already told you, in the back-end side, if you want to develop anything, Using the pure language also you can develop, or with the help of the framework also you will be developing. But in real time scenario, due to time constraints and all, you don't do the things without using the help of the framework. You definitely will be using the framework. In the same way, in the front end side also for JavaScript, you will be using the help of the framework here. That is, for JavaScript generally, in order to implement, you do use two kinds of from frameworks, front-end framework, that is React.js, or people call it as React, or we have something called Angular. So now this is about what exactly front-end development is about, and what is back-end development, and what is called full stack development. And this front-end is also known as UI, guys, user interface. Why? Because when at any time any user wants to connect with your application, if they want to work with your application, what exactly they have to do is they need to open the application, and they can see again same home page, file sign in page, sign up page, and all. They can't see other things, and that is the reason if you talk all together is a web application. But to enter into the web application, to use the web application, they have to start with the web pages. They have to first interact with the web page. That is the reason we call that web pages together. That is front end as a user interface, UI. And these technologies, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and other React, and all, they are known as UI technologies here. And exclusively React and Angular, you can call it as a UI frameworks. But HTML, CSS, JavaScript, they are UI programming language, or UI technologies we call. So now in our course, that is like in full stack development course, what exactly the things we are going to learn. So that is I'm going to list out now. So coming to the front end side here, you will be learning this basic UI technologies like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Anyhow, you will be learning. Coming to the back end technologies here. So here I will be preferring to go with the node technology here. And coming to the database, MongoDB database you'll be using here, which is one of the popular database nowadays, which is mostly used by most of the dynamic applications and exclusively the social media applications. And then, yeah, coming to this technology here, we will be going with Node.js, and along with the Node.js, you will be having the framework for Node.js, right? That is like Express.js. Other than this, you'll be learning, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, backend, Node.js, and Express, and database. In front-end side, extra framework you'll be learning. The way you learn framework for Node.js as Express, right? In the same way, here you'll be learning either Angular or React. You'll be learning, but nowadays React has got some uh, more popularity nowadays compared to Angular. But you can opt for anything. So you have something like React and Angular here. Just a minute, yes. A person who joined with number something 9834. Could you please provide your details like your mail ID and as well as your phone number to the organizers window? The chat box, could you please provide your details? The person who would uh, join with that sub member. You please provide your details to Visualpath admin organizer, both your mail ID as well as your phone number, so that further communication will be easy, guys. You please do that one. Yeah. So coming to this, guys. So if you anyhow you will be having the basic QA technologies. Along with that, if you prefer something like a React here, then what happens is you'll be learning React this side, and this side you'll be learning Node.js Express, and this side will be MongoDB, and that kind of full stack development learning, usually known with a special name, is there. That is Munstack learning. We call it as Munstack learning. So that is just because with the help of that names, the technology names, the first letters of that. That is M stands for MongoDB, E for Express, whereas R for React, and N stands for Node.js. And the guys whoever generally learn Angular as a front-end framework, then here that kind of full stack will be known as so along with HTML, CSS. If they prefer Angular, then that kind of full stack is known as mean stack development. That is again, you know, no need to explain it. M is the same, MongoDB Express same, and N also Node, but A stands for Angular here. So in our course, the course will last for 2 months, and in this course, and you'll be having all these technologies will be covered. That is like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, along with that React, and then Node.js Express, and then MongoDB. And all the sessions will be like practical sessions, guys. So it is like you'll be understanding the concept and immediately you'll be implementing the concept. And the same one I will be expecting you people to do. Like, regular assignments will be there. And also coming to the live projects here, if you are preferring the full stack development, complete full stack development course, minimum of 4 live projects you'll be doing. That is, once you are done with this basic UI technologies, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you'll be creating one application over there with the help of these technologies. And after that, once you learn this React, you'll be creating one front end application with the help of the uh, React technology here. So that project will be like pure front end application, but with the help of the React technology. The first project is without React, using pure JavaScript and HTML in development. Next is once you are done with backend technology learning, you'll be developing pure backend application with the help of the Node.js and MongoDB technologies here. And coming to the end, like whatever the backend application you develop using Node.js and database, and for the same backend application, you'll be creating one front end application using React. That front end application you'll be connecting again to the backend application. You'll be ensuring that whatever it is happening through backend, the same will be data will be transferred to the front end, or whatever you do in the front end, the same will be transferred to the backend. That is like a complete web application or complete full stack application oriented project will be created. One more, so minimum of 4 live projects you'll be creating during the course, guys. The course duration will last for 2 months, like 2 months, 5 days, something like that. It will be the 2 months, guys. So coming to these daily sessions, after finishing the sessions, you'll be having certain assignments at regular intervals, and as well as you'll be having these projects, and then you'll be involved with the development of the project. And apart from this, every day once this live session is finished, and the same session will be recorded over there, and the same recording will be kept inside one portal, and you people will be given the access to that portal, which means day by day the session, what has happened in the live session will be recorded, and that will be stored over there. and you'll be given access to that one. And somehow, at someday, by some reason, if you have missed the class, no need to worry about it. Simply, you can go through that particular session and you can come back on next day. And the same access will be provided to you not only during the training period, guys, and even after finishing the training period also, for, still for few months, and they'll be providing you the access, guys. Okay, so these are the things which are associated with this particular training session, guys. Coming to this demonstration, so these are the things. So that's it from my side regarding this. That is like, I hope you people have got some understanding about what exactly the full stack development is and what are the different technologies we are going to learn in this part, right? I hope you got some idea. And now I'm open to your questions, guys. You can come up with your doubts, and you can ask any technical questions here, and you can chat in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself. You can ask your doubts. I'm open to questions. And
Sir,
yeah, tell me.
can you please explain what is the difference between the application and the platform?
Application and
Platform like Amazon and some platforms are there, right? Amazon and such. Amazon is a platform, right?
Amazon means what? Amazon you're talking about? Amazon e-commerce site, or which one you're
Yes,
talking?
e-commerce site.
No, that is a web application only. Yeah, Amazon is a e-commerce web application, which is
Web
into
okay.
e-commerce industry. Yeah, that's a web application only. But
Okay.
for business people, the guys whoever wants to sell their goods in that web application, in business terms, they will call, like, Amazon is their what I can say, like, selling platform. That is in their own way they will be calling. But coming to this, software terminology, that Amazon site is a software web application.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the person with that number 9834. Yeah, could you please provide your details, Mister? Could you please provide details? Visualpath admin organizer. In the chat window, you please provide the details in the private chat. I hope you are able to hear me. Yeah. Others, guys, if you have any doubts, just come up with your queries. Else, if you are okay with the things, like, whatever you got the information, if you find it is fine, then just let me know in the chat box, like, you are clear at least. Just to give me that confirmation, guys, if you don't have any doubts. Yeah, yes, Sai, if you don't have any knowledge in software application development, also fine, because we'll be starting with the basics of the HTML, what exactly the HTML is and all, right? So that is the reason we'll be starting from the scratch to till the complete full stack development application level. We'll be starting from basic, very basic to advanced. Yes. Yeah. Others guys, you just let me know if you have any doubts, or else just to give me some confirmation, like you are clear. No, the timings won't be 9:30. It will be before 9 only. The timings will be, and our team will let you know timings and all. So Abhi, you have given your details to the visual path, right? And organizer. So they will be providing you the details, further details. Yeah. So
Okay,
yeah.
sir.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, Michael. At the end of our course, once we are done with the application development, at the end, whatever the application you develop, the same one you'll be pushing into Git. For that, you need Git account, but you don't need to worry. At that time, I will be uh, what we call, like I will be creating one account. If you already have that account, into which you'll be pushing the code, that will be good. Yes, the duration will be 2 months. It will be around 2 months, 5 days, something like that. 2 months sessions. Satyam, do you have any doubts still? 5, Michael. It will be 5. Yeah. Hello, Mr. Satyam. Do you have any doubts? If so, just let me know. Okay. Okay. Hope you are fine. Yeah. Okay, guys. Then yeah, that's it from my end. I hope you guys are clear with your doubts. So that's it for the demo, and I'm looking forward to meet you soon in the classes, guys. Okay. Bye, guys. Take care.